Well, it's no secret that Donald Trump is on TV a lot. And one of the reasons he's on TV a lot is he is appearing on a lot of shows. He is calling into the Sunday shows. He's calling into the Today Show. He's appearing with O'Reilly. He is talking to newspaper reporters. I mean, he's just constantly putting himself in the news. But there's something else that's going on, and that is whenever he holds a town hall meeting or a presser or gives a speech, often I should say all of the three cable news networks are taking it live, at least a significant chunk of it. And they're not doing it for Jeb Bush, and they're not doing it for Hillary Clinton, and they're not doing it for Scott Walker or Ted Cruz or Rand Paul or Marco Rubio. Carly Fiorina is starting to get more media attention now that she had such a good debate at the CNN debate at the Reagan Library, but then her events are not being covered live all the time either, at least not so far. And it's undeniable that one of the reasons that television in particular does this is because Donald Trump is good for ratings. And he is still the front runner, so he should get more attention. I talked about this with National Journal's Ron Fournier on Mediabuzz, and he kind of defended it as well. Trump's the front runner, so of course he's going to get more attention, and that's why his events are being taken live. And I said, Ron, I think if Scott Walker were the front runner, he'd get more attention, sure, but the television networks would not be taking everything live. And he disagreed with that, but we all know that I'm right. Okay, got an email from Deborah W. who said, today you kept asking if the media's enhanced level of coverage of Donald Trump is fair to other candidates. In my opinion, that is the wrong question. Is it fair to the voters to have so much coverage of the perceived frontrunner, first Jeb Bush, now Donald Trump, that we have no real opportunity to know the other candidates and choose who we think is best? I consider the CNN debate the Trump debate. By including Mr. Trump in so many questions to allow Mr. Trump rebuttal every time to be a major disservice to voters like me who would like to make an informed decision and would like to consider alternatives to Mr. Trump. When Carly Fiorina had a chance to speak to GOP voters, her poll numbers rose. Well, Deborah, you make some very good points. And even when Donald Trump was not on the screen during that CNN debate, I think one study showed that 44% of the questions were about things that Trump had said, so that other candidates were then talking about what Trump had said, which made the entire debate revolve around Trump. And I think it's also true that when you get exposure to other candidates, and look, I mean, Mike Huckabee and Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, and even Jeb Bush, after staying off TV for much of the summer, are now out there doing more interviews. I think we do owe it to voters to devote more attention and more airtime to these other candidates. Now look, a candidate at 1%, like say Lindsey Graham, is never going to get anywhere near the amount of attention, or Bobby Jindal, that's going to be lavished on the front runners right now are still Donald Trump, Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, and Jeb gets a lot of attention because he's a Bush and he's raised so much money, but he's not getting anywhere near the attention, and he's down in single digits in a lot of the polls. It's not just that we have to meet some perceived standard of fairness, although I think we do. And I've talked to some of the candidates privately, and they are very frustrated, particularly at the debates, but also elsewhere, that television often seems to be all Trump all the time. But it is that we owe it to you to give you more exposure to how these other candidates handle questioning. And I, in the last few weeks, have had Carly Fiorina on my program, and I've had Ben Carson on my program, and earlier talked to Rand Paul and to Mike Huckabee, and to Ted Cruz, as well as to Trump. And we're trying to get the other candidates to agree to interviews as well. Sometimes these things are hard to schedule. But that's the bottom line. You're the ones who get to decide who gets the nomination. You're the ones who need to have enough exposure in different settings to all of the presidential candidates running against Donald Trump to be able to make an informed decision. And that's why I don't say that we shouldn't cover Trump. I think we need to be more responsible in covering the others more so that you feel that you have a good sense of who's running for president.